Okay, so welcome to Chimp on Cars. Today we're in a BMW 520d. I'm just going to show you a little bit about the automatic transmission, how we use the manual side of the automatic transmission, the semi-automatic side, you might call it. We've got flappy paddles for changing the gears. We can also move the selector up and down for changing the gears. Give you a little bit of a show about how all that works. And we're going to do it on the road as well. There are a few videos on YouTube where the guys are just sitting stationary. I don't think they've got driving licenses. So I'm going to show you how it works on the road. So just in the comfort balanced setting at the moment, handbrake on, and we've got the park position. That's where we've started the car up from. We're in park, which is all good, where we'd expect to be. I'm just going to put my foot on the foot brake and just move that back into D for drive. We've got a little lock button on the side here. We can press that, we can go up into reverse, we can come to neutral, we can go to drive, and from drive we can go across into the semi-automatic side as well. So I'm just going to show you a little bit about how we can use this, talk a little bit about why we might use this. We're going to do this with the car moving because that's far more interesting for you and for me. And then I've got a little secret at the end which I'll show you, which is something cool that the car does when we've stopped. So let's have a look at this in action then. So at the moment then we're in comfort mode, we're in automatic mode, we're letting the car select the gears, and the first thing to talk about is these modes here. So we've got comfort, which we're in at the moment, we've got eco, pro, and we've got sport. So we're in a 30 zone at the moment. It's going to take us out onto some slightly more interesting roads. So we're going to go right into this junction. Looks a little bit busy, so I'm in drive. Just the car's going to select the gear for me. I don't need to stress over anything, just get the brake and then the gas to get the car moving. Okay then, so let's have a look at the modes then. So we're in comfort at the moment, so let's talk about the other modes. So we've got sport. So if I press the sport button, we go up into the sport mode, and the first thing we notice is the throttle response is far more responsive. In the automatic position there, we can obviously shift it across to the semi-automatic, but let's just talk about the automatic position here. The throttle response is brilliant, you know, it's instant, it's there. The steering is sharper, it feels quite you know, exactly how you want it to feel in the sport mode. So the complete contrast to that is the Eco Pro mode. If I just put us into Eco Pro, now the car's going to be selecting gears. When we're going up through the gears, it's going to be selecting higher gears sooner. We're going to use less range on the gears, and we're just going to be trying to save fuel. And the big thing we notice when we go from sport mode to Eco Pro mode is it's almost as if the gas pedal is disconnected. We've got very little throttle response, which is obviously exactly what you want when you're trying to save fuel. You want to be driving around smooth and comfortable, so it's there for a reason and it works really well. The steering is in a comfort setting when we're in Eco Pro mode. So it puts into the comfort. The steering feels exactly the same from one to the other. That doesn't change. We can change the configuration of all these things, of course, in the menu. I'm just talking about their standard setup here. And let's go back to the sport mode then, because that's where we get the better looking dashboard. So now the car's going to be, you've got more throttle response, instantly feel that, and the car's going to be like using more range from the gears. We're going to be using the gears a lot more before we change up to the next one. That's kind of what a sport mode is. That's the same in all cars. That's not a BMW thing. That's consistent. And then we can look at the semi-automatic side now. So first of all, in sport, we're in automatic. You know, you put your foot down and the car goes. A bit of a kick down there. Traction control kicked in as well because the roads are a little bit wet today. Okay, so that's fine, that's the same, all cars are much the same in that respect. So let's go across to the semi-automatic side. So now it's up to me to choose the gears. You can see they're in gear number 3 there, sorry, gear number 4, and it will change the gears for me. Now if I change gear myself, so I'm going to go up to gear number 5, see M5, so I'm now manually selecting the gears. So we've got this position on this semi-automatic side. I can use the selector here, so I'm going to go down a couple of gears there because we're going to slow right down. A bit more traction control there because of the wet roads. So we can go up and down through the gears using the selector here, using the paddles on the side of the gear, also the steering wheel. It all works the same way. So why might we do this? So let's just think, well, when we're going into uphill sections, downhill sections, pushing the gas pedal, the automatic gearbox is, you know, reading all this information and selecting the correct gear for us, and it's great at doing that, which is absolutely fine. But it's when we're coming up to corners, the automatic gearbox can't see a corner there, so I'm just going to knock it down a couple of gears there for the corner, not because I need it here necessarily, but if I want to come into a corner and then want to have a lower gear for exiting the corner, then I can see the corner, I can override the gear selection that the car might choose, and I can put it in a gear that I want to use to exit that corner. So let's look at that in practice up here as well. So we're going up a hill. So the car's brilliant at selecting, you know, extra load on the engine. It keeps us in the lower gears longer. The automatic gearbox can do all of that, but there's a corner coming up. So I don't want gear number 3. I want to go into it in gear number 2, because I don't want to be changing gear mid-corner. I want the gear before I slow down, before I enter the corner. And then I've got gear number 2 there ready for when I exit the corner. And I can use the paddles there to go up through the gears. And all is good. Okay, so that's why we might use this override, you know, whether we use it on the selector here or whether we use the paddles on the steering wheel. It's just simply just to, we've got our eyes as well as our ears, and we can listen to the engine, we can see what's coming up, and we know which gear we want better than the car might know which gear we want in certain situations, and that's why we've got this semi-automatic position on the gear stick here. So let's just go back over into auto mode. So now the car's just going to be picking the gears. The car doesn't know there's a corner coming up, so the car's got me in A gear, which it feels is appropriate for the speed and load on the engine. Of course, if I put my foot down, then it will kick down and give me some lower gears, because I've told it with the gas pedal that I want to go faster, and it will select the gears appropriate for that. So it's really up to you. You don't have to use the semi-automatic side, it's just there, and it's quite usable. We've got 8 gears on this car, and it's very usable to go up and down through those gears. Now then, we've got that little secret that I said I'd tell you about with the car. So let me just get through this section of road here, and I'll show you a little cool feature that we've got, and you'll see for yourself, and I'll show you how that works. So let me find this reasonably safe spot to pull over. I'm not going to go right into the mud. There could be some deep holes there. Okay, so I've pulled up. So let me now just put it back over into the manual side. Okay, so if I pull up and stop and I turn the engine off, look at what happens to the gear selector over here. So we're in manual side of the automatic. It automatically pops us into park, sticks it back over to the normal side of the gear stick, and we're parked up, and I can apply the handbrake if I wish to. Obviously, park locks the transmission anyway for me. Okay, so I hope that helps. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and share the video if you like what you saw, and I'll see you in the next video.